Hi, Rome. How are you this morning?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you. Let's go back to the beginning. You find an idol immediately. Talk me through that.
I mean, it was awesome. I found an idol day one. It was pretty crazy because, we hit the beach. I said, Asia made a mistake going on the journey. So the second that we hit the beach, we made a four-person alliance, me, Teeny, Keyshawn, and Genevieve. It never got shown, but we called ourselves the Four Cheese Pizza Alliance. We had a very strong alliance. And so pretty much the second that we made the alliance, I was like, hey, so we don't want Saul or Asia to eventually find this idol. So I'm going to go look for it. And everyone was like, awesome. You go look for it, Rome. We'll keep on the lookout and we'll make sure that they don't get suspicious of things like that. So literally everyone in my alliance was giving me the okay to go look for the idol, which doesn't get shown. It makes it look like I was super sneaky, things like that. But if you look at like who's calling me out for being gone, it's never the people in my alliance. It's always Asia and Saul. They're the only people that were calling me out for it. It's always, the people like Teeny that are like, for real, Rome's actually gone. It's because they were actually covering for me. So it was pretty interesting, like seeing that situation. And then obviously when I realize that, okay, I get the box and then I show Teeny the box. A lot of people were like, why did he show Teeny the box? It's because Teeny was the first one to wake up, and I knew that I was going to tell everyone in my alliance anyway. So I was like, okay, I don't want to walk into the first tribal and play an idol, and then everyone's like, oh, well, we can't trust Rome. He's in our alliance and didn't even tell us he had an idol. So I was planning on telling everyone. So Teeny just woke up first. That's why I told her. I was planning on telling Keyshawn and Genevieve as well when they woke up. But that's why I wasn't really tripping when Teeny showed Keyshawn the box, because I was planning on showing him anyway within that hour anyway. So I wasn't really too worried about it. That's why I didn't have a big blow up about it, because it's like, okay, do I blow up my alliance in this moment because Teeny shared some information that I was already going to share with my alliance? Or do I just stick with it and make them feel like, listen, I'm with you guys no matter what. You made a mistake. It is what it is. And that's what I chose to do. And it ended up working out.
And then you, not long after, get an advantage on the journey. Were you just flying high with all this hardware?
Yeah, that was a funny moment because like when I pulled out the advantage in the bag, I literally screamed. I was like, "Let's go!" And I did it so loud that Annika and Kyle both heard me. So Annika and Kyle both instantly knew that I got an advantage. So that was really awkward because I didn't realize that they were so close. I didn't realize they were literally like right around the corner. So yeah, I was very confused. I was like, "Why are we so close?" But yeah, so they knew that I had an advantage. So that was also a little bit of a disadvantage heading into the merge, is because Kyle still in the back of his head thought like maybe Rome still has something and things like that. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting situation. But yeah, getting the advantage, you got a steal a vote and you got an idol. Like that's so much power heading into the first tribal when there's only six people that are on your tribe. So yeah, it was definitely a good feeling.
And so, what is it about Asia that you really wanted to target her first?
I didn't. I think I said like a bunch of times, like I wanted Saul to be gone. Me and Saul didn't see eye to eye. I had no problems with Asia whatsoever. Like I had literally no problems out there personally with her at all, which is why it was so shocking watching it back that she had all these issues with me. I'm like, what did I do? Like aside from try to feed you, aside from like, aside from you not being in my alliance, like I was very cordial with you. So it was just very confusing to me why like she felt the way that she did about me. But like, it is what it is. Everyone's not everyone's cup of tea. So I had no issues with her. She just wasn't in my alliance. Like I said at the beginning, she went on the journey and that was it for me. Had she not gone on the journey, it might have been me, Genevieve, Asia, and Teeny. You never know. It might have been completely different. So yeah, I mean, that I had no issues with Asia whatsoever. That's why I'm so confused, and also I'm still confused as to why she's like still upset with me. Like even post game, I'm like, you now know that I didn't care who went home that night. It was literally up to Teeny and Keyshawn, and you're still upset with me. Like that's just kind of odd. So like it's like I don't know why she's so upset with me, and like like we're at the our half event, like anytime I'm on screen, her family's behind me booing and stuff. And I'm like, what did I do to cause this kind of reaction? Like, I did nothing personally against you, like personally in the game. Like everything that I did was in the context of the game. Like, I never took anything personally. So it was just weird having someone take something so personally when everything I did was in the context of the game. I think that was like my biggest confusion with Asia. So yeah.
Let's get to this fire puzzle. Oh man, we don't even get one piece. But I was also confused because it didn't look like Genevieve was doing much. She was just kind of standing there with pieces. And I don't know. Talk me through it, Rome.
Yeah, I mean, I heard your guys' recap. You guys roasted me pretty hard for it. But yeah, none of us were good at puzzles. Like it was straight up like none of us wanted to do it. We all walked into the challenge. We had just yesterday, like we went to back-to-back tribals within 24 hours. So like we had just yesterday failed at this puzzle. We watched Asia and Keyshawn fail. I think they got like 3 pieces total in like the 30 minutes. So Keyshawn was like, we walked in and we all saw the puzzle and we all went, oh, we lost. Like we all knew it was over instantly when we saw the puzzle because we all knew that we were all bad at those type of puzzles. And it was funny because after the immunity challenge the time before, we were all joking like, oh man, we suck at those puzzles. Good thing we won't have to deal with one of those again. Then the next day we had to deal with the same one. So that's why it was just automatically demoralizing when we walked in, saw the puzzle. Keyshawn didn't want to do it because he just failed at it yesterday. Saul didn't want to do it because he said he was bad at puzzles. Teeny didn't want to do it. She said she was bad at puzzles. Then it was only me and Genevieve. And Genevieve just sat out yesterday. So Genevieve was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I was like, I've went 2 for 2 so far. When I've been at the end, we've won immunity both times. So even though I'm not good at puzzles, I'll try it since none of us were good at puzzles. And so we were like, okay, what's the best strategy since we're not good at this? And we were like, well, if we just try one piece at a time, eventually we'll get one, right? And so that was our whole strategy. So it was actually a strategy. Didn't work out. It ended up flopping incredibly hard, but it was hilarious to look back. It was too funny. Yeah, honestly, it was really funny. We all just sucked at puzzles. Like, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, you had one of the most incredible moments, in my opinion. You get to sit in Jeff's seat and like lead a portion of the tribal. I know you must have been on a high with that. Tell me how that felt.
Yeah, being able to sit in Jeff's seat, like as someone that does hosting and does commentating, like it was honestly unreal because it's one of those things where you realize like, whoa, no one's ever done this, but also like in the moment, you're just like, man, like, all right, let's nail this. Like, this is like what I do. Like, I talk into a mic, no teleprompter, no CTA to read or nothing, just break down why this advantage is not great. And the fact that he was, letting me pretty much roast his advantage in his seat, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, I will say it was very surreal. It was very incredible. And just to hear it back, to not hear me stutter once, to not mess up, like that was honestly incredible to watch back, and I'm just super happy he gave me the opportunity. So, who knows what hosting opportunities might pop up after this, but 12 days, no food, still able to nail that type of a moment. It felt amazing. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'd have been stumbling all over the place. All right. So then after that, though, you hear your name one time and then again and again. Can you talk me through that experience?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was more confusion. Like, I wouldn't call it a blindside. I know a lot of people are calling it a blindside. I wouldn't call it a blindside. I knew there was a good chance I was going home. There was only Saul's name and no other name out there. And I was the only one throwing out Saul's name. So I already know if you don't hear any other name aside from the name you're throwing out, there's a good chance it's you. So I was like, okay, there's a 75% chance it's Saul, 25% chance that it's me tonight. If it is me, guess what? All these people want me gone. So even if I play my shot in the dark and it hits, it's just going to be like the Caleb situation where I'm gone in a couple tribals or the next tribal anyway. So it was really like, if you have to use your shot in the dark at 13, you're not going to win the game. So that's why I ended up not using my shot in the dark and decided to, try to cause a little chaos and write down Sam's name instead. Somebody that I felt was way too comfortable in the game at that moment.
It seemed from the editing that maybe after Keyshawn said your name or after you found out that your game might have shifted a little bit. Is that accurate?
It made me not trust people as much for sure, because the main reason is because I was down to take this 4 cheese pizza alliance to the end. Like I was down to ride it out till the very end, and it just really stunk that someone would go against that for pretty much no reason. Like there was literally no reason why Keyshawn should have flipped the vote onto me. Like, especially if he thought that people weren't going to get along with me or mesh with me well, things like that. That's the type of person that you keep around because you feel like you can beat them. So the fact that he was like, yeah, let's not go with the person that I feel like could beat me in Saul and let's go with Rome, who I don't feel like could beat me, it just made no sense. So like, even from his point of view, like even talking with him like post game, like it didn't make sense. Like, you got to stick with your alliance. Like you don't want to make it too big of a move too early. And that's why you see when Genevieve told me that Keyshawn wanted to vote me out, I was genuinely hurt. Like I was down to take this alliance to the end. I was down to have a re-before situation and ride it out. And like I'm a very loyal player. I'm fiercely loyal. I think that was shown in as crazy of an edit as it was. Nobody can say that I wasn't loyal to the people I was loyal with in the pre-merge. And so, pretty much it is what it is. I played hard, and I think that Keyshawn vote made me a little bit weary of trusting people because I had put so much trust into that 4-person alliance that I had made.
Speaking of this edit, you were a huge part of these first 6 episodes. How do you feel about your edit?
Um, I'm indifferent about it. It didn't show any of my strategy pretty much. It didn't show like any of, my nice moments. Like it didn't show us like all going around and talking about our moms on Mother's Day that, I started that conversation. It didn't show us, walking down to a random flower that reminded Saul of his wife and singing happy birthday to her. It didn't show, a lot of things, even my secret scene where I'm feeding everybody and things like that got cut. So it's like, it's like my edit is what the edit is. Like, I can't sit here and control like what they're going to do with the edit or how I'm going to be portrayed. All I can control is how I'm going out there and playing the game. And at the end of the day, I went out there, I played hard, I had fun, and everything that I did was in the context of the game. Nothing I did was outside of the game. It was all just playing hard, having a great time. And I'm a gamer at the end of the day, like you gotta go hard, man. It's a game. If you don't, Jeff always says, play like it's your second time. And I feel like a lot of people don't, just straight up. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I gotta not do nothing so I can make it as far as possible. But where's the fun in that? If you didn't play hard, did you even play at all? That's how I feel.
Well, you are so fun to watch. What was the highlight of this whole experience for you?
Sitting in Jeff's seat was awesome. That was super surreal. Also catching fish. Like I didn't expect me to be able to catch fish like that. Like I don't care what anybody says. They can talk about the size of the fish. Guess what? The smaller the fish, the harder it is to hit. Okay. And also, if you look at the fish out there, there's not exactly a lot of big fish out there unless you want to go like off the deep end. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. I thought that was definitely a highlight was being able to catch so many fish. I wish it got shown like a little bit better, but it is what it is. It was awesome being able to provide for the tribe off, a week of not eating anything but coconut. Also I guess my social game, that I was really proud of it, even though it didn't get shown. Like it might seem crazy saying that now, but like edit aside, I was able to make an alliance off the rip, and regardless of what people say, I could have not found an idol. I could have not found a steal a vote. It still would have been either Asia or Saul that night. So I know people are like, oh man, they only sided with him because of the advantages. It's just not true. Like it was already going to happen. The advantages just made it a lot easier to roll with me. That's all.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Rome. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you very much.